Go ahead and dip into the acrylic white with your small brush and go back up to the bottom of the sky and blend it in nice and lightly right above the canyon. And now we go back to Persuasion Blue, and we could have, you thought, well, why couldn't we have just stopped there? Well, this is the step that brings the happy sky, and the reason why we added a little more white last time to the under part of the sky, closer to the canyon, was because we needed that part to reflect more happiness. And now we're going to add Persuasion Blue on the top part to the happy sky. Now we add more white to the sky, the happy sky. And because we've added ultramarine blue to the canyon and made that happy, now we've got to make the reflection shine on the sky to make it more happier in this step. This is looking great. Yeah. Now we're on the final step. We're going to dip the brush into white, acrylic white, and blend it into the sky again, finishing up the happy sky. See? You stick to it. That's all that it takes. Good job, everybody. My wife now says, David, did you really try? Or did you just partly go and then give up? Huh, never thought of it that way before. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need to try harder. She's like, you gotta stick it out. Don't stick out too far, because then you might stick out like a sore thumb. Oh. I used to run by the seat of my pants. I'm learning how not to do that anymore. People are like, well, how do you run by the seat of your pants? Well, when someone's holding them in front of you at the store when you're going buying clothes, I always had in my head, haha, so that's what it's like to run past your pants. We're on the final steps of the happy sky, and we're going to dip back into cobalt blue and a lot more white, acrylic white, a lot of it. And then we're just going to blend it in, and you'll see why here in a minute. let it be, and we'll paint the rest of the scene around while that's drying. Let's have fun now. So, we have this beautiful scene. It'll come together, I promise you. Trust is the big letter word. Okay, now that you've dipped your brush in the water, go over to ultramarine blue and don't wipe off your brush with the water. Keep it on there and you'll see how cool the effect is when you go to brush in all the rest of the stuff. Don't worry about detail right now. Just worry about ghosting in with the lighter blue, because that's what it's going to show up as a lighter blue. And it's going to act, you're going to see how it acts like watercolor. But in the reality, it's gouache. And you'll see how the difference between watercolor will want to run down the page. And gouache will run down, but it's not going to run down that far because it's a heavier paint. And it's really fun to work with, and just watch how cool it is. Just keep painting and you'll see. And now we're going to dip into cobalt blue, and we're going to just kind of angle it in. It's going to look like a little bit of a triangle at the bottom of the waterfall there. And just have fun with it and do the same thing. Don't dry off your brush yet. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? It's awesome. So you gotta think lines. Everything on this earth has straight lines. Okay, so continue to dip your brush into some water. Just wipe it off on the edge or corners of your water container. Go back up with some cobalt blue into the bottom of the waterfalls, ghosting it in with different shades of blue. So grab a little more white acrylic, and we're going to ghost in some rocks at the bottom of the cliff over here near the canyon edge. So because it's gouache, it's easy to use. You can re-wet it on your palette. You can either hold the palette or you can set the palette aside. I like to, when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I like to sometimes hold it if I'm standing, but if I'm sitting, I'll dip my paintbrush into the palette and go grab some more acrylic white and just have fun. And you can kind of see what I was talking about with the watercolor, how watercolor it would have already ran down. There's a little bit of blue waiting to fall down, but because it's a heavy paint, you'll see why it is so cool to work with in just a few minutes. While using the water on our brush, dip over into the acrylic white. We're going to go up and we're going to continue to ghost in the happy family for the happy little canyon and the happy little sky, because they need a happy little family. And that's what we're doing right now. We're ghosting in their family with all the waterfalls and the rocks around the waterfalls. So just have fun with this. So we're still using cobalt blue and maybe a little bit more acrylic white, but just know that it's just a small little tidbit of acrylic, and dip it into the water. Don't dry it off, and put it into the cobalt blue, and you'll see why, how awesome it is to push back the background to the canyon as if you were looking at it. And if you've ever been out into the nature has angles, so just watch how I'm going to angle it all here in a minute. Right here, continue to use some of that whooshing noise, the whoosh, 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 whoosh. However you want to do it, whatever works, whoosh, whoosh. Whoosh. That kind of stuff works right here. Just have fun making cool little sound effects in order to get the angles the way you want them.